Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mr. Elie, your French teacher. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, we make French learning free and much more easier for you. And please don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button to not miss any upcoming video. Please share the link with somebody, to a friend of yours or in a group, and let them join us for this YouTube channel. Thank you. Our last time we studied le passé composé first part, which was what? Le passé composé avec avoir. Le passé composé with avoir. Now, today we are going to study le passé composé avec le verbe être. Bien. Same thing, same formula, only être is changing. The avoir, we are replacing avoir with être. What do I mean? Last time I gave you the rule as a subject plus avoir in present tense plus the past participle of the main verb or the given verb. And today, with passé composé with être, we are giving you subject plus être in present tense, conjugated according to the subject, plus what? The past participle of the main verb. Well, you may ask me, is this time the past participle different from the previous one? No way, no, the same past participle we are going to use. If you understood how to form the past participle of the previous lesson, then it is the same thing. No need to again struggle. So, if you didn't watch my previous video, please, there is a description link below there. Please go and enjoy the video before you come back here. So now let's try to understand le passé composé with être. I believe it will be also easy like the previous one. So, do we need to talk about the past participle? No, no need. Now, here's the thing. Why do we separate it? Because the passé composé with être has a few rules which come along with it. That's why we always separate it. Now, what do I mean? First thing I'm going to tell you is that passé composé with être, I believe that there are 14 verbs plus all the pronominal verbs. You can also say reflexive verb. So 14 verbs which are going to be using être in passé composé passé composé with être. In passé composé, sorry. In passé composé. Okay, so 14 verbs which are going to be using être in passé composé. Plus all the entire pronominal verb, reflexive verb. Well, you may ask me, what is a pronominal verb? Okay, we did it. Yes, I believe that we did it. So, pronominal verbs will mostly begin with what? SE or S apostrophe, then the verb. For example, se laver, SE space, then laver, L-A-V-E-R. See, se laver, which means to take a bath. For example, s'habiller, S apostrophe, H-A-B-I-L-L-E-R, s'habiller. So those are the reflexive verbs. So reflexive verb, mostly the action is reflect back to oneself, the one who is speaking. Okay, kind of a selfish action, selfish verbs. That's what I call it sometimes. Selfish verbs. It's almost all about yourself. Yep, all about somebody. Now, with that being said, am I going to give you all the 14 verbs? No, I'm going to leave you a link in the descriptions. Please go there and find the 14 verbs. Otherwise, okay, it is there in your screen. I'm going to give you a table of those 14 verbs on your screen there. But for a better understanding, go to the link and then see it. So how do we remember those 14 verbs? Mostly we give you this rule. It's a very popular one. Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump. Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump. It is how you remember all those 14 verbs. So it is there on your screen. You can see that. Well, one more thing that you have to remember in passé composé with être is that in passé composé with être, there is what we call the rule of agreement, l'accord du participe passé. Okay, en français on dit l'accord du participe passé. So subject verb agreement. Sometimes you can say subject verb agreement. Yeah. Okay, how do we do it? So here is the note I can leave you on the screen there. See, the past participle must agree with the subject in gender and in number. I repeat, the past participle must agree with the subject of the verb in gender and in number. What is gender? Masculine or feminine? That's what we call gender, masculine or feminine. Is the subject masculine or feminine? Number is the subject plural or singular form. What do I mean by plural or singular form? For example, let's say il and il. So il au pluriel, il au singulier. So let's say, give you an example. Let's say il descendre l'escalier. Il descendre l'escalier. Descendre here is using être in passé composé. So I'm going to say il est descendu de l'escalier. Il est descendu de l'escalier. Well, you don't see anything there. Now pay attention. Let's say elle descendre l'escalier. What will happen? Because elle here is a feminine. So elle est est. Descendu, we take e at the end. Okay? Descendu with e at the end. Now let's go back to the il. Let's say, let's take for example, il au pluriel. Okay? Il. So here the être conjugation will be what? Ils sont. So ils sont descendus de l'escalier. Ils sont descendus de l'escalier. What will be descendu? So descendu here we take a s at the end. Why? Because the subject is plural. Il masculine plural. So descendu take s. Let's take the example of what? Elle. Elle au pluriel. So elles sont descendues de l'escalier. Elles sont descendues de l'escalier. Here, descendu we take a es at the end. Do you see what we call the agreement here? So this happen mainly in passé composé with être. Of course, it can happen with a passé composé with avoir, but not here. We are not going to discuss that here because it will be confusing for you, so not here. Fine. That's it. So easy. Just quick recap. The passé composé with être is what? Subject plus être in present tense plus the past participle of the given verb, and we have 14 verbs plus all the reflexive verbs which are using être in passé composé. And then you have this major rule, which is what the note, which is what this past participle must agree with the subject in number and gender, or gender and number. Fine, understood? So that's what we call what here the passé composé avec être. Now, with that being said, we have done with everything. Now still there is a confusion. You may ask yourself, how will I remember how to use passé composé with avoir and how to use passé composé with être, or when to use avoir, when to use être? Simple. That is why I divided into two groups for you to understand. Here is the thing. I gave you right now on the screen there 14 verbs plus all the reflexive verbs. So you have to memorize all the verbs which are using être in passé composé. So if we as your teachers give you a verb to conjugate in passé composé, the only thing you have to do is what? Is to check if that verb is using être. If it is not using être, then it is avoir. Let's go slowly. So let me give you a sentence here. Let's say il fournit, F-O-U-R-N-I-R, fournit des marchandises aux commerçants. Il fournit des marchandises aux commerçants. Let's say that. Now the verb in bracket. First thing, when you have that, they say do it in passé composé, right? Now, your job is to check that verb in bracket, if it is there in the list of the 14 verbs which are using être in Passé Composé, or to check if it is a reflexive verb. So is fourni in the list of the verb using être in Passé Composé, or is a fourni a reflexive verb? No. So automatically here I'm going to use avoir as the helping verb. So I will say il a fourni, il a. So avoir here conjugation for avoir, for il it is a. So il a, then past participle of fourni, it is IR verb. So fourni de la marchandise au commerçant. Fine. So let me give you one more. Je, in bracket, monter dans la voiture. Je, in bracket, monter dans la voiture. So again, monter is a given verb. Is monter in the list of the 14 verbs which are using être, or is monter a reflexive verb? So I check in my mind right now, I'm checking. Because I know it, right? I'm checking. So nowhere I find monter in the list, or nowhere I see that monter is a reflexive verb. So automatically my mind tells me that no, monter. Oh, sorry, my bad. Monter is there. Okay, monter is there, my bad. Now you see, my mind reminded me that no, monter is there, right? So monter is there in the list of the 14 verbs. So here I'm going to use monter. I'm going to use être as the helping verb. So it will be je suis monté dans la voiture. Je suis monté dans la voiture. That's how you do it. Third thing is what the past participle. You have to memorize all the past participle of the irregular verbs. Very important. So that's what I can say about Passé Composé. So thank you for visiting my YouTube channel, and I love you guys. Subscribe and please don't share the link with your friends. You know many friends, or you know somebody who is doing French, or somebody somebody. So of course you know somebody, and somebody knows somebody. So please don't share the link with them. Let them join us here where learning French is easy and free. Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine.